Welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky. The show will begin momentarily.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win. We choose to go to the moon.
All right, welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky, the Dragonchain Update show. This is episode 0xb0. We're into the B's finally, or pronounced as Bita, apparently. This is the 177th episode. I think that's right. My notes say something different, but it's 177. Let's see here. Reminder, nothing on this show is financial advice. And make sure you stay tuned after all of the updates, the individual project updates for the weekly AMA. Have it every week. And the first segment this week, number go up, is again corruption. And this is dragging on so long that corruption keeps going up that there is a current Super Happy Dragon Lucky DAO vote for the show to change this segment. Details later in the show. So make sure you do look at the DAO on the Dragonchain layer for the show. Then we go into Dragonchain updates. So the shows last week had a lot distribution of 494 lot. There were 3 questions or topics for 49 lot each. There were 2 featured posts, each of which will receive also 49 lot. The host received 49 lot also, and Dragonchain received 198 lot. Next, there is a new capability brief, which is on behavior marketplace AI. And essentially it's developed out of us trying to figure out how best to communicate to this to people and avoiding misconceptions of what we do at Dragonchain. It is, of course, driven. It is built using Dragonchain, using blockchain, but one of the key components of what we've been able to build, we think, is going to be termed behavior marketplace AI. Kind of stems out of what was described as behavior systems all this time. But essentially that we're leveraging the use of incentives in a competitive marketplace of behavior. So essentially you have to behave in a way competing with other people in order to amplify the business goals that are laid out and how those behaviors are measured. And it's essentially AI, because you can, instead of having programmatic nodes that are neural net or GA or something else, that these are people and you don't have to train them. Now you can also put trained AIs in to compete with the people. And it's an interesting thing, but it's been shown to produce organic and self-driven behaviors by users that directly meet a business's goals, sometimes even in unanticipated ways. So go check out, it's a pretty high level write-up, but it's very intriguing, interesting info if you get it in the right hands. So share it, read it, share it. Ask questions about it even next week or whenever it makes sense, or in the Dragonchain layer for that matter, anytime. Next, there's an update on the time. the leaderboard and the console updates. We've been working on the service, and it had a couple of hiccups with the migration. Like say for me, so far it's been working, but we keep having reports that sometimes it isn't. So we are, watching it, looking into it. Some people may still have issues, so do let us know if you're one of them. That there were a couple of ways to trigger the system to update itself in the console, for example. To make sure you ask us if you're seeing any issues so that we can be on top of it. Also, thank you to everyone who's been reporting bugs and broken links after and during the migration. There are still a couple of pieces that are migrating even this week. Let us know if you see anything, and it helps us out a lot. Also, there is a post that we are looking for anyone, in the Dragonchain community, any dragons that reside in Minnesota's 6th district, even in Minnesota at large as well. But if you're in the 6th district, please reply to that post or contact us at info@dragonchain.com or DM Jojo on Den. And anyway, that's in the Dragonchain layer, so go there. Also, the update for this show, there is a DAO vote that is currently open that was proposed by Eternal Mickey, the great Eternal Mickey, to change number go up segment of this show to current events, at least until something starts going up that is more positive than corruption. I don't know. Anyway, but to change it to current events so we can just cover whatever's going on at the beginning of the show, and also that the community could help suggest what current events should be covered in replies to the show post and everything else. Great idea. Thank you, Eternal Mickey. And let's see here. Next, we'll go to Den.Social updates. The LCP, the December 2022 LCP results are in. They just completed this morning. The number one layer proposal by unique voters was 1.1 million lore committed. 44 unique voters was Den's Got Talent, proposed by JWags 24 in April of 2022. The number 8 proposal by Lore Committed, which also won, had 922.9 thousand lore committed and 23 unique voters, which was Hot Takes, proposed by Bit by the Coin in September of 2022. And sneaking in literally the number 21 in lore committed with 406.5 thousand lore, I think it's 406.5 thousand lore committed, and 4 unique voters, only 4 unique voters, average of 100,000, that's pretty good, was Birds, proposed by Babar Rafiq in July of 2022. That should be super interesting. Congratulations to all of the proposers and anyone who got who will be getting lots soon. I think they're live now. I think I saw a message inside of our internal system that these layers are live. They pushed them out early because of the holidays and because a couple of people will be out, so they're there now. I think the lot will probably not be established outside the system or for export until after the holidays, probably. I don't know. It depends. I think they might put it in, and it depends if the multi-sig gets everything processed. So a lot of that might even depend on me and a couple other people. So we will see about that. But either way, they're live. Go and subscribe to them today. They've already been created. And this is what's a little bit out of order because of the holidays. Anyone who wants to purchase any of the runners-up layers should still make all requests by Sunday, December 25th, Christmas Day at 11:59 p.m. So 23:59 UTC, and we will get those created after the holidays. But you can basically still say, hey, I want to create one of the top 5, or I want to use the other option and create a layer proposal that only had 8 or more unique voters on it. So get in there, look at them. Maybe there are a couple that should be made. Also, in case you missed it, we've been posting a walk through the Den FAQ. There have been 4 so far. Each one is a section of the FAQ, and the intent is to kind of bring it to light as a regular post so people can ask questions there that could then update the FAQ, either by getting new questions in or changing the language or anything else. So get in there, vote on it, read it, and see if there's anything that should be added, or if you have any questions about the questions. So anyway, check that out. It's great stuff, and vote on it. And then Coffee with Den update. There's no Coffee with Den for the next few weeks because a couple of people are going to be out for the holidays. The show will, however, return on Wednesday, January 4 at 0900 Eastern, 0600 Pacific U.S. time, Standard Time. And everyone who participates in the show will earn a Coffee with Den lot. And I think there is also, I think there's a Coffee with Den GI post in there too. I think I just voted on it because I forgot that I had some lot. So anyway, go check that out. And here, maybe we're doing it live. Oh, never mind. I did vote on it though. Actually, if you could scroll down, and see. Oh, go to the actual. No, sorry. Go to the post and you can see. I am starting a campaign. If you look at the replies, for everyone to vote for the WGHR3. I'm strongly advocating for that to win this vote. Anyway, sorry, it's a fake vote. I think they were just testing stuff to demonstrate or something. But anyway, go vote on it anyway. Get some practice in. It's free. There are no fees. Next, DENDAO updates. So there is a current DENDAO vote. And this is interesting, and it came up for a couple of reasons. But the proposal by me was to, and I made the verbal proposal on the DENDAO call last week, that we create a program to open new minting and ownership of DENDAO lot to bring some prominent or consistent or significant contributors to DENDAO, people who are always on the show, always offering ideas, feedback, questions, that essentially will create a program where one new DENDAO lot could be minted every month. And the program would allow any current DENDAO lot owner to nominate a denizen for honorable inclusion for any significant contribution to Den.Social or one of its communities. It could be for, contributing significantly to something that gets Den a lot of attention or something, right? Who knows? Totally open. And to nominate the DENDAO lot owner would need to create a DENDAO MISC GI, a miscellaneous governance issue in the DENDAO Lair. Only one positive resolution within a calendar month will cause a DENDAO lot to be minted. So if you had 2 of them running and one of them resolves before another, that's the one that will get created, and the other one we'll have to try again next month. It won't just automatically get generated next month, right? And I also gave a handful, I think 5 out last week of mine own, as a couple of other DENDAO lot holders have done as well. So, and that might happen also. So there is a potential that if one doesn't pass, one of the DENDAO lot holders could give up one of their lot to that person. Anyway, it's an interesting proposal. I recommend you vote on it. Vote however you wish, but it'll be fun because essentially getting that DENDAO lot is meaningful because those people who have shown consistent contribution will be able to propose new governance issues, which they couldn't do before. They would have to suggest them to us, and we would have to, somebody who had lot would have to post them. So this will open that up. The DENDAO call is this Thursday, December 22nd at 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UTC. Make sure you watch for the post in the DENDAO Lair for the agenda and a link to join live. Everyone's welcome to join. No need to turn your camera on. Maybe we can talk about the proposal, see if there's anybody has any ideas on, who we might want to nominate. So, or somebody might want to nominate. Anyway, so watch the show or suggest some topics there. Next, we'll go to the roundtable, the World Blockchain Roundtable update. First, make sure you watch and share last week's episode, which was on privacy coins. There was a lot of really good info, both on privacy coins and a couple of other issues that popped up. The more views it gets in the first week, the more all the participants and question and topic providers will get. Make sure you go there. Make sure you share it. And then episode 83 will be on this Thursday, December 22 at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. The topic is, how would Santa use blockchain? A very topical event. And make sure you leave a question or subject to discuss. I'll be on that show. I think Lisa is hosting it. It should be a good show. It'll be fun, at least. I don't know if there's any requirement for us to wear hats or anything. That's a question I have. Next, there is a vote in the Roundtable DAO for themes for January. Make sure you review them. You get one vote, and they're going to be ranked, of course. It will set the January themes for the show on Roundtable. So you'll get to vote on what you want us to discuss in January. Pick out your favorite topic. I have not yet voted, so I need to go in there and look at that too. That's it for the updates. So AMA is right after this.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.
All right, what you've all been waiting for. It is AMA time. We refresh to make sure we get the latest ranking of all the questions. First up is Alxon. So I'm going to go over here so I can read it more easily, because my screen is like a little bitty window on there. Okay, so the Raiinmaker app has integration with different social networks, Twitter, TikTok, etc. Have you contacted them for integration with Den? I mean, we're in contact with them all the time, and we're essentially trying to draw as much network effect from each other as we can, right? They're entirely built on Dragonchain. Their upcoming updates, the things they're working on, it's all built with us with Dragonchain. From really super far-reaching, significant technical ideas are going into that project. So, and there is, I think we will be using some of the same stuff with Den. There's a lot of identity things, as an example. It hasn't been the most important thing, because Den has some features that could use. I mean, we both could use each other, but Den is not as big as TikTok or Twitter, right? So it has not been a huge priority to do anything like that. But there is some possibility, although I'm kind of waiting to see how a couple of things pan out. But I had thought for a while that I would probably even go over there and use Raiinmaker to promote Den on TikTok, Twitter, etc. So that might be the first thing that you would see. And I frankly would have probably already done it by now, but I really ran out of time this past summer, and right now is not the best time to do it anyway. So it's a good question, though, Alex. Thank you very much. Okay, next, Timo the Ward. So this is long. So this is I in fact tagged this as a suggestion, right? So I think that's right. Right now, people can use Den to create their own layers, post replies, and all things that go with the forum. But now, with incentive for the people that visit this layer to do something, the particular layer and Den as a website once. So instead of letting people create layers, they could buy Web3 websites. And Timo lists a light product where Dragonchain would manage and deliver an L1, which is a managed node, with something like WordPress for people to build their Web3 website on, without any governance or tokens included. And a full product, which would be a manage your own L1 or let Dragonchain handle it, and have a platform to design your own Web3 website with options to include governance, incentivizing, or using other tokens with uses within this website. Think about it this way. Dragonchain manages Den.Social and chose to build a forum on the website, but now you get infrastructure in place and develop a platform or buy or use open source for people to create their website on. So essentially it would be to host a website alongside your L1 generally, and maybe with some Den capabilities on the governance side. So essentially to push the fact that it would help Dragonchain build more transactions, which brilliant idea. And then suggestion to check out Caspo, which I have not yet, so I will try to do that. I'll try to do that today. Something to note, I think this is really insightful because this is very similar. So this is some additional ideas from what I've had in the past. And I don't want to say, oh, I already had this idea or anything, because this is very different. But in describing, I'm going to describe something that I had considered for a while, but it was at least at the time deemed too early. That essentially you could come to us and you would create your own blockchain, right? We manage it, or you do, and there are different price points and different ways, subscription fees that you pay for, as well as transaction fees, right? So that's what already happens. You can manage your own, we can manage it, and you just pay differently, right? That already exists. What I had proposed is a lot of people come in and they need to build the blockchain as well as the website and, like you say, some of the other infrastructure, right? So my proposal in and this was probably 2019, was to offer up a web hosting. So it would be web hosting and web service hosting that would all be fed from pages, documents on your chain. So essentially your website itself would be directly hosted from the chain. Totally doable, but it was a little bit too early, and the people that we were talking to in the sales cycle wouldn't have been able to fathom that. It wouldn't have been a driver for them to buy it. Instead, what we did is we made, and the other side of that, by the way, is some of the infrastructure stuff that has been happening in the past 6 months, which is number one, what we've called New Core. And I don't know if it would be, I don't know what the version is, frankly. I would have to check what the version is, but it's essentially the third major version of the Dragonchain core system, which allows the user to, instead of holding their blockchain, and this is your company's or your project's blockchain, instead of having the storage on the management of that in a file system or a cloud file system, which is by default in the older core, that it would essentially allow you to instead put it in a relational database. So you still have the same proof, you still have the same security, you still have the same exact architectural capabilities and structure. But what it gives you as a developer is a very, very traditional approach to mashing up data or to delivering data to your customers or to your website or whatever it is that you're building. And that was the harder part, frankly. And it's funny that I would not have remembered this, or the thought of just hosting and directly off of the chain in some standardized, very simple way, because essentially this is brilliant, Timo, because we could, with what we've just built on Core and what is now out there on a decent number of chains already, with the new Core, that we could add in, it might be a configuration, it might be something that you would pay extra for, but either way, a developer could come in and in one fell swoop have their blockchain, have their database, be able to do whatever they need to do with their database and tie it in with the blockchain, including smart contracts, tokens if they need them, orchestrations if they need them, ledgering if they need it, and be able to just post all of their website pages directly on chain and host them out. So the versioning is provable. In some cases that really matters. Publicly traded companies, for instance, have to be able to store their marketing department's history, what was on the web page, what promotions were out there, all the rest of that. And we've known that for a while was needed, but so far we've not found anyone that understands how important it would be to put that on chain instead of just putting in a file system somewhere. So that's coming. It's just the time isn't there. And on the other side of the governance, that you could also tie that in with Den, and there's at least one consideration on the Den team right now to build a capability to have a wiki, so a community wiki for every layer, so that what right now you might be storing in Google Docs or somewhere else, for a community guidelines document, or anything else that would describe culture or keep track of things that community wants to keep track of, that you would have a wiki and there would be consensus on the wiki. So somebody would make a change to the wiki and people say, oh, that's a good change, I'm going to vote on it, right? You don't have any of the politics or any of the corruption that you do in a place like Wikipedia. So brilliant suggestion, Timo the Ward. So thank you very much. You get top credits there. Next we go to Y'all Weird, who says, probably a stupid question, but no question is stupid, by the way, but does Dragonchain have a test net for developers interested in using it? How do I say this? We don't have like a full-on test network, because essentially your how do I say this? Your node is running on its own, whether it's running in a cloud managed by us or on in your system. The verifications are sent out to the proof network, DragonNet, and they are distributed or decentralized very quickly and then very massively in the end. But the alternative, and it's an architectural thing, so it's more than anything semantics, to do the equivalent of what you would do on the Ethereum testnet, as an example, where you might be needing to build out a system, have some ledgering, and most particularly testing a smart contract, which that's one of the biggest reasons that you need a test net on Ethereum. And on Dragonchain, it's very interesting because if you pull down the command line interface from the Dragonchain dev pages, and that's how you interface with your production, your operational blockchains, wherever they might be hosted, that command line interface has tooling within it to do the equivalent of what you would do on a test net locally. So you're essentially running the smart contracts locally, and it might be in the cloud, but it doesn't need the verifications. Now, there are some cases, very niche cases, I've not seen anyone need this for a long time, where you might have a need to test a verification level of a certain transaction or smart contract call, where you don't want, for example, to accept a transaction or a state or business change until you have a level 4 verification, or until Bitcoin has put that block on chain. And that you would need, right now you would just run it on the regular DragonNet and test it that way. There are some ways we could do it. You could set up a test net. It would be some work, but if you ever have, or anybody ever has listening, a need to do that, just contact us and we can help out, either by just helping you with the fees so that you can test it that way, or helping you set up a full test net of your own. So, for example, what we had at Disney before we open sourced would have been considered a test net. It was where we were running all 5 levels of the entire network. And, we had different business units running them, but we didn't have to. I mean, I think the first time we ever ran it, we were running an entire network on one laptop, even one machine. So, you can do that. You can do that with the open source code. So, and we can help if you need it. So, great question. So that was 3 questions. Should I answer Trogdor's question? He always has lovely questions. Again, there are no stupid questions, only stupid people. So that was mean. That was mean, but he said mean things too. So, and I'm just joking, Trogdor. We love you. And so his question is, do you regret the whole NASCAR sponsorship? What do you think that accomplished? The reason I wanted to even answer this, I don't regret having done that back then. As you can imagine, we have had endlessly people complain that we never market. And then when we actually do some level of what would be traditional marketing, and some of that was in order to get, our name in front of certain people for sales reasons, that people complain that we did it, or, make fun of us, or, do whatever else they do. What do we think that accomplished? I mean, we did get some attention. It was good branding. It's not something I would do right now, obviously. It's not something that even in the year after it would have made sense. But it is what it is. And we all learn a lot as we go forward. So anyway, I really apologize. I probably shouldn't have said that, Trogdor. But anyway, thanks for the question. And that is all of the AMA. So let's see here. We also have one featured content, which is, let's see here. Why doesn't Den.Social use its native token Dragon for the creation of energy? So be certain to know that the Den.Social is a separate project. It started as a POC. It started as something to show what Dragonchain was capable of. But, and it does use every single action that happens on Den is put on chain, on Den's own chain, which uses the Dragonchain network, right? And DragonNet. And yet the Dragon is not its native token. So its native token is literally matter, lore, and lot. 3 of them, right? And some people complain that that's complex, but that's because they have different purposes. And that was some of the things that we wanted to test out. So it's interesting stuff. And yet, I mean, your idea is not all a bad idea. Why not reward people with energy if they are Dragon holders? And I will tell you, some of the ideas for Den came out of our knowledge of what was happening in Telegram in the early days, where we would have a lot of people who would come in as trolls on Telegram. And there was no way to know, is this person from another project who has literally been paid to come in and post to BS or to cause drama, And we know that, especially back in the heyday in 2017, 2018, that you would get 3 or 4 people coming in. And I can't remember what it's called, but there are social crowd manipulation strategies that have been used historically to change things in governments, where people would distribute themselves inside of a crowd at a meeting so that to everyone there, it feels like their position, even though they're only 4 people or something, is much bigger because they're not all sitting together. And the people would do the modern equivalent of that in Telegram. And there's no way to tell if they were really committed Dragonchain people, or if they, again, were paid shill or something, right? And so we wanted originally if there was a way to integrate and make Telegram crypto aware, if it could understand that and say, hey, this person is posting something, but they have 0 dragons proven, right? And so that kind of led to what Den is. And frankly, probably the most appropriate idea for this would be to apply that equivalent on Dragonchain, the Dragonchain layer, or multiple. There's more than one Dragonchain layer. That maybe that would make sense, that instead of it generating energy, it would just be and maybe it would generate energy that could be used in that layer only. I don't know. That'd be more complex than we want to do. And that, but the other would be that you would be able to see this person has a certain amount of time, or something like that would be potentially interesting. You have to be worried then, though, about doxing people and things like that. So it would require a lot of discussion. So anyway, but great topic, and you'll get rewarded also for this show. So that's all of the stuff for the AMA and featured content. Next, we have new merch. Again, the We Believed Sam shirts, and the number go up, death the number go up shirts. Again, $1 over cost, no coupon code needed. And I think that's forever, $1 over cost. And in closing, make sure you watch again next Wednesday at a new time. Because of the holidays, it will be on Wednesday. Super Happy Dragon Lucky is Wednesday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and 5 p.m. UTC. And make sure you watch the roundtable this Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific. Make sure you follow Dragonchain, Real Innocence, and Jojo Row on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Den, of course. And I'm Joe on Den. And like, comment, and share. That's everything. Thanks again. See you next week.
Now, more than ever, our data is at risk. Our supply chains are in jeopardy. Our systems are broken, and businesses feel powerless. Dragonchain gives you a different way, a safer way, a better way, and you have power over your data. Dragonchain gives you proof in an untrusted world. Build now at Dragonchain.com, America's blockchain.